Alright guys, before I begin I want to apologize heads up for the audio. For some reason my computer and my headphones, which they're right here staring right in front of me, it's not agreeing with each other right now. And right now I'm just not going to run upstairs to get my other headphones, which I'm glad I kept for such an emergency, but people are asleep and needless to say, it's not respectful to run into the drawer just to look for a pair of headphones where everybody got to go to work in the morning. Um, but I do want to get this video out, especially when I made a couple attempts with the same microphone to talk about the recent event that happened today or yesterday, because it's now, as I'm speaking, 12:37 in the morning. Um, and needless to say, if you haven't know by now what happened with Spill.com, you probably have caught this at the right time. I would not advise you to click on the site because the site is no longer there. The site is now immediately directing everyone to Hollywood.com. Hollywood.com was the owner, the property owner of Spill.com. It was part of their flagship. And as you guys know already, they have decided to cut the cord on Spill.com. This has been a very emotional few weeks for a lot of people who have was a big part of the community, have done a lot of creativity on the site with artwork and sharing their own videos and stories. I myself was a community there for time to time, and I met a lot of good people there, especially in the community. So this was a very big disappointment for me to hear what was going on. Um, and the only reason why I'm not this down because I did make a video of this just being in shock, which if you look back at it and when I had time to think about it, really, um, shouldn't have been a surprise to no one because the warning signs were actually there. The warning signs was pretty much what's written on the wall way before even Corey had made the announcement that Hollywood Studios had pulled the plug. I think the first warning sign was the loading bar. As you know, guys, those who have followed the site, the loading bar um, wanted to do E3, but Hollywood.com wouldn't pay for it, which should have brought a red flag to everybody as why not have these guys fly over to do E3 coverage where their specialty is games. That's why they were there. That's why Loading Bar existed to talk about video games and Let's Plays. Eventually, they did went, but it was because of fans donating money that they actually went and did the cover, and it was a huge success. But right there should have been the warning sign. Right there should have been, okay, that's kind of odd that Hollywood.com wouldn't, fork in the dough and let these guys do their job. What's going on? And then, no less than a few months later, layoffs started happening from all across the board. And one of the major layoffs were the Loading Bar, with a few other podcasts that Spill.com had created. And this was all budget restraint. This was all about the stuff that was going on. And that brought my concern because I did mention this before. I believe in a video and from a forum from Magic Expression. And needless to say, it never escaped the back of my mind that something's going on with Hollywood.com because they've been getting all these cutbacks, and it wasn't like they were just picking on Spill. It was a lot of other stuff that was going on behind the scenes. And Corey said they was doing phase two, and we said, okay, well, this is going to be the big change they was talking about. In fact, they actually just said that everything's going to be changing over soon, and you got to save all your stuff. And then when I clicked on Magic Expression in the forum, it says recipespill.com, which caught me immediately by surprise. I didn't know what was that all about. I thought it was a joke, but it wasn't, and it was very serious. And I went to the site myself, saw what I saw, and it was stunned that was happening. It was stunned. I didn't want to blame Hollywood just yet, but after seeing Corey's Twitter page, it was clear what was happening. Um, Now, that was the sad news, of course. A lot of people was emotional. Corey did a whole bunch of call-in shows. I think he did more call-in shows than he have done the entire year. This 1 month, I think he did more at during the year that just now about to come to an end. So it was a very big deal, and a lot of emotions came out. And I strongly believe it was the emotions that was presented by the fans, by Spilio fans, that allow Corey to keep it going. And not in the sense of Spill.com, because Spill.com is gone, but also create something else that the fans can follow and support. And that's exactly what he did. He did a Kickstarter, made already have surpassed the amount of money he needs to build a website, and pretty much will be doing his own thing without the worry of someone behind him saying, no, you can't do that, no, you have to do this. There's no more restraints because he's calling the shots. And I'm looking forward for this. I'm looking forward for that site to be done. I'm looking forward for that site to launch. Mind you, everyone, the site is not going to be overnight. For what he is doing, it may take a few months. I wouldn't be shocked if it don't come out to after the spring. But when it does, you better believe that him, along with the rest of the former crew of Spill, will be back in full form. Now, I say former because there's no way I can actually realistically say that that they can use the name Spill.com, because again, this is under the umbrella of Hollywood. They own the rights to the name, but doesn't necessarily mean they can do something similar. And I'm looking forward to seeing what new stuff he has to offer. Because, like he said a dozen of times, including his last do this and last a couple cold ones, he wanted to do a lot of things he could not done, and now he can do it. When I saw his Kickstarter page, and it was a very funny Kickstarter page, he made it very clear that now he's in charge. He was the person who created Spill, but he was never in charge of Spill. That was the whole thing that I think people need to understand. Spill started around 2006, was officially launched 2007, and it had a great 8-year run. And But he never really had full control of it. It was selling control for different vineyard. They sold it to Hollywood, where Hollywood have kept it ever since. And although they never really bothered him, he never really had that power where he actually could actually expand the site further than what he wanted to be. And that pretty much was the hurting point, because you had a company who was supportive and kept and let them do their thing while they stayed behind the scenes. But when it came to stuff that wanted to move the site forward, you never really you never really felt that they was actually willing to take that next step. And it's kind of sad because I said this before in my previous video, and I'll say it again. Um, this is a unique site. This is not your typical movie critic site, because that's what one of the reasons why I came on the site for. Because I liked it there. The way they reviewed movies were fun, hilarious. And it was different than what I expected. It was very, very different, and I love the talent that went behind it. And then once I went to the site and explored, and see they did a lot more than just movie reviews, I began to integrate it myself towards the podcast. Originally, it was just audio. Then it moved right straight towards the Let's Do This and a couple of cold ones. I took a breather with uh, League of Extremely Ordinary Gentlemen. Um, Remote viewing I did from time to time, but I pretty much became more in tune with the podcast, that even though I still listen to the audio of reviews and movie reviews, they were secondary to the podcast because they were very fun. And I'm not gonna lie to you, they actually kept me laughing and kept me not focusing on the bad times I was going through. And that's one of the things I'm gonna definitely miss, because those are the things where when you're down, when you're nothing seems to go right, and you're feeling low and depressed. It's always good to go to somewhere where you know their work um, can make you feel good and actually put a smile on your face. And actually forget the woes and the pains that the world is throwing at you. A lot of people have was going to miss that, and that call-in shows where you actually have people crying really showed just how important the site was to a lot of people. And it showed a lot towards Corey as well because I don't think, honestly, he did appreciate it, but I don't think he really understood the true impact Spill.com had with his followers. They really it really touched a lot of people, and it was family. That's something that is a great accomplishment towards Corey as well as the people behind the scenes, people you probably even know working behind the scenes. Everyone who was involved with Spell.com deserve a round of applause for that tremendous job they have done keeping that site running all these years. Let me get to Hollywood.com because I don't want to slip them through the cracks here. Um, I mentioned a few things um, involving Hollywood.com, but I want to make it clear I'm not going to rant against them. Again, the writing was on the wall for a long time now, and it's it's kind of naive and kind of arrogant to say that it's all their fault. How could they do this? When reality is that this was actually a money pool. It was actually something was going on. They're not pouring in the money like they used to, and something had to give. Do I think they should have done more to actually support a site that actually showed that it was successful? Yes. But again, I have to ask myself the one question: how successful was Spill.com really? How much money are they losing, and how much more layoff was to come before one or both sides are gone? And that is something I gotta keep that in mind because Corey did mention that a lot of stuff was happening. A lot of people was no longer in the office of Hollywood.com, and I can believe that. He has no reason to deceive us on that, and even he knew. He was upset, as well as a lot of people are, of how they handled some of the situations. Obviously, how they treat the site as just a normal site and not actually a community site, which I will say right now they're gonna miss. They're gonna miss big time. Let's keep it real. As a person who visits sites, a person who is a big time Spill fan, I'm not going to follow Hollywood.com along with a lot of other people. And I'm hoping that Hollywood.com is ready for the huge hole they have definitely have put themselves in by taking out this channel, taking out this website. That is a site that's not just typical. That site was unique, and nothing's going to replace that. Nothing is going to replace that. And that's how unique Spill.com is. And I kind of wish they honestly would use that site more to actually build more credibility, not only towards Spill, but towards themselves as well, because Hollywood name was on that. And I mean, there's no question about it. And I kind of wish they actually would invest more on a winning product. Obviously, they didn't see it that way, and as you all know, when business comes to play, they're gonna look at the bottom line more so. They're gonna look at the popularity of a particular product they have. Again, I don't hold no grudges. I know uh, Corey Coleman doesn't hold any grudges. He said nothing but nice things, and the good thing about it is that because he left on good terms, if you want to call it that, with Hollywood. There's always a chance he can work with them again. I don't see any reason why. Um, they have done good to him. He has done good by them by getting a product. So is it a possibility they can work again in the future? Of course it is. Um, and that's pretty much all I'm going to say about that. Am I going to follow HollywoodStudio.com? No, I'm not. But doesn't mean I'm going to go out there and make a rant blog on what has happened. It was the signs was there. The situation was in terms of layoffs was there. And despite the effort for Koei to keep things going under the name in terms of doing things different, it was obvious that Hollywood just couldn't support it. That's the bad news. The good news is Koei's doing its own thing. I can't wait to see how he's going to do it. I'm hoping that everybody who was involved in Spill will be involved with this new project, this new site. Hopefully, it reflects his new ideas that's coming on. This is his now. I can't wait to see how he does it. Um, and the only thing is, it's pretty much the waiting game. I have checked before leaving Starbucks if he was aware of the shutdown. He wasn't. He actually tweeted that. He wasn't aware that the site was offline. Kind of weird out. He didn't give them a title, a name title. I actually thought it was going to be offline in January. They actually just didn't wait. They took it out real quick. But he did tweet about it. He said he will keep us updated as much as possible. And I think it's important that we, as Bill fans or ex-Bill fans now, to actually keep us open in terms of what tweets put out there, because I think that's pretty much, unless you have a Tumblr. I think he has LinkedIn as well, but unless you have a Tumblr or anything else, unless he still controls the YouTube channels, which I don't think he does, because I know Spill has strong say on what's the property that's theirs. We need to make sure that we pass the word around that they'll sign us up. So I'm definitely going to keep an eye on his Twitter page, what's new, what's update. Again, I don't see nothing actually coming to terms until at least April or May. I'm being realistic. There's no way he's going to get a side up in 2 days. There's no way he's going to get a side up in 2 months. I think it's going to be a good 3 to 4 months before we start seeing things new. And once it comes in new, I'm pretty sure that the Spill fans will follow him here for this new site. So that's pretty much it right now, guys. Spill is gone, but doesn't mean it's over in terms of Corey and his team. This is just the beginning, and I'm looking forward for it. I can't wait. So, what do you think about this, guys? Are you looking forward for a new venture? Do you still have bitterness? Because I know a lot of people are not feeling Hollywood.com. I'm not gonna go crazy again. The writing was pretty much already set in stone from the very beginning when the Loading Wall didn't get any funding to cover E3. So I'm not gonna go nuts. But again, there are people out there who are not happy. So if you agree with the move, disagree with the move, let me know. Put it in the comment section. Until then, this is Jason 77 saying take care, be safe, and I'll talk to you soon.